Michael, this is when we turn the page and take our first official look at the Week 4 opponent, the Atlanta Falcons.
They were bad last week. 30-0 is bad to begin with. Carolina is worse. So 30-0 in Carolina, that's about as bad as you can get, but let's not write off the Falcons just yet, Adam. This is a team that hung tight with Minnesota, that hung tight and beat Tampa. Certainly they are capable of winning this football game. They've got talent. I don't believe in their coaching. We know Raheem Morris from his time here, but I believe in their talent, and I believe in a bounce back after a brutal game in Carolina.
Yep, Raheem Morris just confirming to reporters in Atlanta he is not even close to benching Michael Penix, even though former Redskins quarterback Kirk Cousins did get into the game in Sunday's blowout loss to the Panthers. What challenges does Michael Penix bring to the Washington defense?
Well, you look at the success and failure of this defense through 3 weeks. You've had success against Russell Wilson and Geno Smith, two guys who they don't measure their time in the pocket with a stopwatch, they measure it with an hourglass, right? That's not Penix. He can move, he can release the ball quickly. He's not Jordan Love. He's not at that caliber, but he's out of that mold. Jordan Love was able to get the ball out quickly and take advantage of this week's secondary. I think Penix will be able to do the same. He's also got weapons. Bijan Robinson, enough said there. Obviously, Drake London is a phenomenally talented receiver. Say what you will about Kyle Pitts. He seems to be at least a little bit back right now. There are some really good skill players on this Falcons team.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Bijan Robinson worries me. I have him in fantasy. I know what he brings every single week. But I think you start right there. You make the Falcons one-dimensional. They have to be able to shut down this rushing attack. The Green Bay game, it was not good enough. You held them, I think, below 100 yards in terms of the starting running back, but the average per carry kept the chains moving, and I think that's where this game starts. Can they hold Bijan Robinson to under 3 yards per carry, set Michael Penix into second and long, and then third and long situations? That's how you get off the field against this team.
And can they learn from the last 2 weeks? You look at what the Packers did. They overload with two tight ends. They overload the secondary on one side, and these guys get confused. That was the first catch of the game there against the Raiders, and that was so depressing because that was the play that beat them against the Packers. I would have said 10 days notice. You can defend that play. You can be ready for that play. And there they were with a big gainer right out of the gate. Can they learn from that? The Falcons are going to try it. That's how the NFL works. It's a copycat league. You do something until it stops working. Can they be ready for that overloaded side? Two tight ends, two receivers to one side. Will the secondary know how to cover it this week?
Marcus Mariota or Jayden Daniels, it seems like something that will be discussed all week long, but Michael Penix will start for the Atlanta Falcons. We know that. And for Washington, this is a game in which I think the defense needs to win. Atlanta has one touchdown in their last 23 possessions. The Falcons average 14 points per game offensively. You got to win this game with defense. You're going into their stadium, and you've got to create a turnover, which you have not really done yet this season. You've got to get off the field on third downs, and I think it would really help to give the offense short field position here and flip the game with a momentum-shifting play. So, to me, this is all about Washington's defense that was awesome in Week 1. Embarrassingly bad in Week 2, and then great again in Week 3. Can they get this team a victory in Week 4 on the road?
Yeah, starts up front. Dorrance Armstrong, 3 sacks in 3 games. We saw the best of Von Miller, the best of Bobby Wagner last week. Those guys will be called upon. I don't believe this secondary is a top 10 secondary by any stretch. You're dealing with injuries this week. Now we'll get the reports on Marshawn Lattimore as the week goes on. We'll get the reports on Trey Amos as the week goes on. But this, to me, is all about up front. Can you speed them up? Can you get them out of their rhythm? Can you make the Atlanta Falcons run their offense sped up? And I think if you do that, you got a good chance of getting your first takeaway of the year, which would be an important milestone for these guys.
Yeah, because the Week 2 loss was all about, the age of the Commanders roster. You're seeing that on Thursday Night Football on a short week. Well, yeah, where was all that talk the next week when they had extended rest and Von Miller got a sack and Bobby Wagner got a sack and the defense was fantastic, right? So you could talk about the age of this roster. When they play well, though, that's not going to be a conversation. Offensively, Washington's got 3 running backs, and I'm not sure who the coach favors most because we saw all 3 of them in action on Sunday.
I'm not sure the coach favors one of the 3 the most. I think you got 3 different weapons there in your Swiss Army knife. Pull out the one you need. By the way, pull out the quarterback weapon as well. Pull out the Deebo Samuel weapon as well. You've got a lot of options, and I think that really makes Cliff Kingsbury able to excel, able to overcome not having Jayden Daniels, right? We'll wait and see. I think Jayden will be out there. But even if he's out there, you want to get Debo involved early. You want to get all the running backs involved early. Tell you what, the other thing that really intrigued me last week was seeing so much Trent Scott in that John Bates position. I think very clearly they feel comfortable in this offense having 6 offensive linemen, not 5. And one of the reasons you can do that is because everybody's so versatile. Debo can catch it. Debo can run with it. You've got so many different options, so many different ways to combine them that you can afford to lose a guy and create that 6-man offensive line.
Yeah, I love the 3 different running backs. It feels like they all provide something different. Chris Rodriguez, I think, is probably the best first down back on the team. Jeremy McNichols is the best at pass protecting, and Bill has the most upside because it feels like anytime he touches the rock, something positive happens. And I felt like last week you started to really see Cliff Kingsbury use Debo in the type of role that he wants him used late in that game, or at least in the second half. You saw him in the backfield more. You saw him being motioned more. And obviously we saw the carries and the catches. And so that is just something I think is going to grow and really develop throughout the year offensively, is Cliff Kingsbury understanding how much of a Swiss Army knife Deebo Samuel is.
Yeah, and this is going to be the Deebo tension forever, right? He wants to be a receiver because that's how you make the most money. That's how you take the fewest number of hits. Offensive coordinators are always going to want to use him in this way. They're always going to want to put him in motion, get him the ball in those jet sweeps, do those things that make defenses have to guess. And so far, he's been a team player. He's been out there. He's been doing his thing. As long as that continues, that is clearly how he has the most use and the most value to this Washington Commanders team. I will say, if Terry's out, it raises the possibility, right? Do you make Debo more of a wide receiver to fill for that Terry absence? Because let's just call it what it is. I don't think they trust Luke McCaffrey yet. I don't think they have enough in the playbook for Jalen Lane yet. Noah Brown was banged up during training camp. I don't know that there's a logical number 1 receiver with Terry out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be more Chris Moore on the field for Washington. Debo's just such a weapon at wide back, right? He's a wide out. He's a running back. Use him to your advantage and make sure that it helps your offense. The offensive line for the Commanders, they made changes, and it looked like the coaching staff was very smart with their moves because they had their best game. And I saw Pro Football Focus was saying that the best right tackle and the best left tackle were Washington's, Laramie Tunsil and Josh Connerly. Does Washington make any changes to their offensive line, or are they still fully healthy with those 5 guys at the offensive line?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think they leave the offensive line this week. I think Brandon Coleman will be active, though. I think that was a send a message inactive, not a we don't need you on this team inactive. I think he's back on the active roster, available to fill in if he needs to fill in. But at the same time, you had such success last week. It's hard for me to go into that meeting room and say, great job, boys. Let's change everything just to change it. That's not really a good message to send to that offensive line. They were so good.
Yeah, my favorite Lil Wayne line. If it ain't broke, don't break it. If it ain't shook, don't shake it. That you like that, Michael?
Great philosopher Lil Wayne there getting dropped during crosstalk. I love that, and that's so true because you add in Trent Scott, and these guys had a ton of success moving the ball, moving the chains last week. The running backs are certainly a big part of that too. Chris Rodriguez out of the gate. We saw Bill. We saw McNichols. Everybody had such success with the burst. You add in the special teams. Debo, Jalen Lane, both giving them good field position. Even though there weren't any takeaways, it felt like they were playing on short fields.
How do you feel about head coach Dan Quinn? He got knocked on Sunday. He revealed to Chick Hernandez of CBS in D.C. that he was under concussion protocol. Is that something you worry about with your head coach moving into another weekend?
Well, I worry about anybody having a concussion at any point, but I think he'll be fine. I think even if he has a concussion, you've got enough assistants handling the game plan. I mean, I think for him, it's the emotions of the game, going back to Atlanta, going back to that place where he coached that team to the Super Bowl, and the emotions of what happened in that Super Bowl. It's going to be an emotional day for Dan Quinn. The players cranked it up a level after Dan Quinn got bloodied last week. I think they're going to do the same for their coach this week as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting coaching matchup. Raheem Morris, he's familiar with Washington. Dan Quinn, he's familiar with Atlanta. What's it going to take for Washington to get the win on Sunday?
Well, I think it starts with establishing the run, winning these possessions. I think defensively, you can't let the game be decided in the secondary. You've got to decide it with the pass rush. You've got to play on your time frame, not their time frame. If you are speeding up Michael Penix, you are winning. But I think this will be a close game. I think this will come down to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we just have to trust in Matt Gay to kick it straight through. Felt a lot better about him hitting that right before half, and I do feel like that was a big momentum booster for the team, but also like mentally that was important for this franchise. You just saw your coach get knocked down, and then your kicker you didn't really have that much trust in nails it from 50 plus. That was a big moment, and hopefully he needed that, right? Because we all saw how depressed he was on the sideline after he missed from about 37.
He went from totally fired to not yet fired. There's still the possibility, obviously, but that was a good redemption arc for Matt Gay. The team needs to rally behind him, trust him, and those field goals certainly helped out. But this will be a week-to-week thing. You go to Atlanta, Young Hoku, of course, big cut earlier this year. You would have said he was one of the NFL's steadiest kickers. It's rough out there for a kicker, man.
Yeah, and then they replaced him with Parker Romo, and I believe he went 0 for 2 in the 30-0 defeat to the Panthers. That's Michael Phillips. I'm Adam Epstein. You're listening to AWOD Radio on The Fan.